It costs sacrifices. Your family, your friends, even your own mental health will feel the weight of what you're trying to build. Welcome back to the Spinoso Podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Alex Spinoso, and my experience and expertise is in scaling all types of medical businesses to 7, 8, and 9 figures. So today, we're going to talk about a question a lot of people don't really think through before they jump into entrepreneurship. What does it cost? And to answer that question, I'm going to take you to one of the greatest superhero movies of all time, Avengers: Infinity War. If you've seen Infinity War, you know the moment. Thanos, the ultimate Marvel villain, big, purple, and hell-bent on wiping out half the universe, has spent the entire movie hunting down the Infinity Stones. Because, according to him, his mission is bigger than himself. He thinks the universe is dying from overpopulation and waste, and in his twisted, godlike way, he believes he has to be the one to fix it. So one by one, he collects the stones, and then he arrives at Vormir, the place where the Soul Stone is kept. And that's where shit gets real. Because the guardian of the stone tells him to take the stone, you must lose that which you love. And you can see it in his face. Even a genocidal warlord has something that he loves. And in that moment, Gamora, his adopted daughter, realizes the truth. Thanos isn't just willing to pay the price. He's ready to. And with literal tears in his eyes, he throws Gamora off the cliff. He makes the ultimate sacrifice. Later in the movie, in one of the most haunting moments, we see young Gamora standing in a dreamlike place, looking up at him and asking, "Did you do it?" "Yes," he answers. "What did it cost?" And Thanos, staring out into the void, answers, "Everything." Now, Thanos is a bit of a psychopath. We're not taking business advice from the guy who wanted to snap half the universe out of existence, although if you've been in business long enough, some days you actually wish that could be true. But in that moment, that lesson, that's entrepreneurship. It costs everything. This isn't about luxury. This life is about sacrifice. A lot of people jump into business for all the wrong reasons. They see the million-dollar entrepreneurs flexing on Instagram, the exotic cars, the yachts, the private jets, and they think that's what I want. And it might start out like that. They start a business, start calling themselves an entrepreneur, and think they're on their way. Then reality slaps them across the face, because real entrepreneurs don't build businesses just to buy shit. They build because they can't not build something great, because they have a vision that won't let them sleep, because they have a mission that's bigger than themselves. And guess what? That mission costs something. It costs time. You're going to miss events, vacation, nights out with friends. It costs energy. You're going to wake up drained, go to bed exhausted, and repeat that cycle for years. It costs stress. You'll have days where you feel like the entire world is sitting on your chest and you can't sleep. It costs sacrifices. Your family, your friends, even your own mental health will feel the weight of what you're trying to build. So let me be clear about this. If you started a business just to fund your Cancun vacations, then go ahead and quit now. Because this game isn't for you. And the cost isn't an excuse to be a shitty spouse or a parent. Now let's get one thing straight. When I say entrepreneurship costs everything, I'm not saying that gives you an excuse to be a selfish, absent, shitty spouse or parent. No. What it means is this: if you're going to be away, you better make the time you are home count. If you're going out there grinding, your wife and your kids better know why. If you're missing moments, then the moments you are there for better be undeniable. If you're sacrificing time, then you better be mentally and emotionally present when you do show up. Because here's what too many so-called successful entrepreneurs do. They build $1 million business, but they let their marriage fall apart. They grind to build a legacy, but their kids don't even know who they are. That is not success. Your business is not an excuse to be an emotionally absent wreck at home. Here's the hard truth. If you're going to be away, you better up your game as a husband and father. Because guess what? Your wife and kids, they didn't sign up for this business. You did. So be present, be intentional. Don't take your stress out on them. Because the real cost of entrepreneurship isn't missing dinner. It's missing your own family's trust, love, and respect. And the last thing to think about is that the cost better be worth it. So what's your purpose? If this is going to cost you everything, then you better make sure that it's worth everything. And guess what? Money isn't enough. Because here's the truth. I know a lot of rich people. And guess what? Some of them are absolutely miserable because they built an empire, but they never built a real reason for why they were doing it. So what's your reason? In another podcast episode, I talk about finding your Rome. The Roman Empire accomplished so much because its citizens put Rome above their individual hopes and dreams. Rome was bigger than any one person. It was the bigger, more transcendental thing that motivated them. So what's your Rome? What's your bigger purpose? Is it freedom for your family? Impact for your clients, building something that outlives you? Because if you're only chasing dollars, you're going to wake up one day and realize it wasn't worth the cost. So let's go back to that Infinity War moment one last time. Gamora asks, what did it cost? And Thanos, the guy who just conquered the universe, he sits there staring into nothing and he says, everything. That's entrepreneurship. It costs your time. It costs your comfort. It costs you a peace of mind. And if you do it wrong, it'll cost your family, your health, and your happiness. But if you do it right, if you build for a purpose, not just a paycheck, then yeah, it costs everything. But it's worth everything too. So now I ask you, what is it going to cost you? And is it worth it?